What makes your undergraduate experience what it is are the things that you're exposed to. And so we've kind of broken that down into like 3 different categories of things we feel like you're exposed to at college, like really make college what it is. Exposure to people, exposure to ideas, and exposure to failure.
So before coming to Yale, I've been living in Beijing my whole life. So I think Yale really exposed me to a group of people who come from very different cultural backgrounds.
Hearing how people's mindsets were so different really informed our discussions in an interesting way and caused me to think and reconsider about a lot of the beliefs that I held coming into college.
So my conceptions of gay people were pretty much completely limited to what was portrayed in Hollywood or the negative perceptions that people around me held. So coming to Yale, which has a thriving gay community, was really interesting, especially because one of my suite mates was gay, and he turned out to be one of my really good friends here. And so it was just really kind of interesting to see how meeting one person can completely change your perspective about an entire group of people.
It forces you to interact with these people who come from different backgrounds and have sometimes drastically different opinions and beliefs, and you've got to do everything from live with them to work on projects with them, and to do those things you really have to come to understand where they're coming from, and it forces you to question what you have held as your own beliefs for a long time.
I would say the biggest thing that I've been exposed to during my time at Yale is failure, just lots of failure.
I slept through one of my midterms and consequently had to drop the course, and it was Intro to Art History, the first part, this fall semester. I don't know, I was lacking in motivation so much that I just slept through it.
I got here and almost immediately ran for freshman class council. Didn't make it.
I went through an interview process and there were multiple rounds for it, and it wasn't explicit rejection, it was more just not being accepted.
I didn't expect the feeling to be as scary as it actually is.
Walking away from it was actually one of the hardest things I did my freshman year, one of the things that really kind of shook my core the most, because it meant that I had to tell myself that I was only taking this thing because of my ego.
It's the failure to have a sense of direction that is really unique to a college experience.
And I think that kind of gets at what being exposed to failure does for you, which is that it lets you figure out what really matters and what doesn't really matter so much.
Which, in the end, actually ended up working out pretty well, I think, because it gave me more of a clean break from high school. I ended up doing activities that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
I'd worked out what I liked and what I didn't, and I started doing things from then on because they spoke to me in some way or because I thought they would help me as a person.
And I haven't slept through any other midterms since then.
So when I first came to Yale, I kind of thought that all academia in its purest sense was this big, mutual, masturbatory circle jerk. And after spending a year here taking classes, I realized for the most part that was incredibly true.
At the same time, there's something very amusing and satisfying about being able to identify anything, so a piece of art, a plant, a fish, and be able to talk about how it fits into its environment and how we think about it, as opposed to just being oh, this philosopher said that.
It's a way of looking at the world, and you can apply that to many things.
I found that I've been able to apply it to so many aspects of my life, and I don't know, it's an excuse for everything. Oh, that was a sunk cost, that was a sunk cost, and I literally use it in every aspect of my life, and that was from my introductory microeconomics class.
And as soon as you have that realization that this thing that you would never think about studying as through theory is something that actually would very much benefit from that lens, then you begin looking at almost everything else in your world and thinking, well, what if I studied this more in depth? What if I studied this through a more detailed lens?
Seeing how things are not only the sum of their parts, but the parts can be greater, but then when you take them individually, they can also take on a totally different meaning. And so I guess this one class kind of helped me look at the world in a different way.